Welcome to Tooltech Geek. I wanted to compare these two multi-tools. This is called Grand Harvest and this is a Nextorch Pioneer. And these have a rescue scissors. They have very powerful scissors, both of them. I wanted to compare these two tools to see what are the similarities and differences. I thought this will be very close to the Nextorch, but it isn't. So first of all, let's bring the main attraction of these tools, which is this type of rescue scissors with serrations here. This produces a very tremendous cutting power. This is probably based on the Raptor type rescue scissors, but now they put it in a multi-tool, and it's one of the most effective scissors you can find, and they are both high performing. Let's try to cut some seat belt. This is really seat belt material, so I believe can cut it very easily. The Nextorch Pioneer, which is supposed to be for emergency workers. Harvest has no problem either. So they both have very powerful scissors. And the shape of this handle reminded me of the shape of this handle. So they have some design patterns in common. See, there is this kind of triangular and opening here. They even have some plastic inserts, but they are far from identical. The Nextorch is much lighter. It's under 300 grams, and the main tool is the scissors. The Grand Harvest is heavier, over 300 grams, and the main tool are some pliers. These pliers here are bigger than the pliers the Nextorch, which makes sense because the Nextorch pliers are a secondary tool. The primary tool in the Nextorch is the scissors. So this one is more ply oriented, and this pliers is thicker, and that may be one of the reasons of the heavier weight. They're still pretty well aligned. Now there is a difference on the scissors actually, and that difference is, this is something that will make perfect sense. The Nextorch scissors have a thicker material. I don't know if you can see it, but the steel is thicker, so this will be a kind of comparison. Slightly thicker in the Nextorch, not by much, but sufficiently enough that this makes the scissors probably more rigid, durable, less tendency to flex. So, and this tool is much more expensive, so twice as much. This is in the hundreds of dollars, even when discounted, or $9.99, and this is more like $50 or so. So you get almost the same super efficient scissors in a slightly heavier package. Neither of these two tools have a Phillips screwdrivers. They do have a flathead. In the Nextorch is kind of like a small one. In the Grand Harvest is bigger. All of these tools are a little bigger in the Grand Harvest, which is probably another reason why it's heavier. But it has a very, very long saw versus Nextorch is much shorter, significantly shorter. For saws, it usually helps to have a longer one. So this is, I'm gonna cut bigger branches and things. Same thing with the knife. It's not primarily a big knife tool. The Nextorch is shorter and it has a different shape. It's a little safer in certain scenarios because it's not pointy. This one is pointy, so it can punch through things more easily. And then this also comes with a serrated blade that this doesn't have. This cuts very well through fibrous materials, for example cardboard. If you were to take a piece of cardboard, for example, this has no problem cutting that. It's even better than a straight blade for that purposes. And this is supposedly oriented to a survival tool. It has a little ferro rod and a whistle. The whistle is tiny but still pretty loud. And the ferro rod works, and try to demonstrate. There's not too many very sharp surfaces to use with this tool. Usually you want to use the back of a sharp blade, but they are all rounded, so you cannot use the back of all these blades, which is kind of nice for ergonomics, that they're not sharp because they are in the contact with the hands. But nevertheless, you have a little ferro rod. Let's see if it works at all. Yeah, it generates sparks that could be to produce fire in a survival scenario. So all in all, I like this tool. It's very affordable, but the Nextorch still has its appeal because it's lighter. It also has a ruler, a slightly different pocket clip. They're both for slightly different uses. This has this unique zip tie cutter. So, and this is geared to law enforcement because you can put a key for a handcuffs there. It does have this pull cutter that's really sharp. So they have different kind of scenarios. This seems to be even for outdoors, presumably. I carried this in my pocket yesterday and it was comfortable. It didn't feel too bulky or anything. Just in a jeans pocket, even though it's pretty huge and heavy, but it was possible to carry it without feeling it. It has kind of nice finish, like a polish almost, so it doesn't feel rough. They took care of rounding lots of parts. They both have an oxygen wrench, which I think is kind of funny. If this is for survival in the wilderness, why would you need an oxygen wrench? I can understand that in the Nextorch because it's for emergencies, but this one is a bit of a puzzle, and this seems like it could be wire cutters, maybe, I don't know. Either way, these are not probably meant to fix appliances because they don't have a Phillips screwdriver, but they are what good options if you want the best scissors in the world, and if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, then this is the ticket. Max Level EDC did a review. He really was enthusiastic about this tool, so that's why I was interested in it. And again, they're not the same. This isn't just a different version of the Nextorch. It's a totally different tool, but pretty solid nevertheless, and more affordable. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you for watching.